by Best Pro Shops.
200 days ago, our season kicked off in Palatka, Florida on a winding river, and we returned to a river fishery to finish the season right here in beautiful Crosse, Wisconsin. The final day of the Guaranteed Rate Bassmaster Elite at the Mississippi River, but not just of this event, of the Elite Series for 2022. And atop the leaderboard, a name that we have gotten used to seeing there a lot this year, Chris Johnston with 62 pounds, 15 ounces. Brian Schmidt in second, a former Elite Series champion. Keith Combs, the only angler in the top 10 that needs that win, and you're in, so you can't help cheer for him. I'm Dave Mercer. I just moved the hole that makes the words, but I'm joined by Davey Height, two-time Angler of the Year and Bassmaster Classic champion, and we're going to catch you up on the action and all the doings that have been going on this particular body of water for the 9th stop of the Bassmaster Elite Series, and you know what it is. It's the Yamaha Midday Report, and Davey Height, let's get started with Matt Airy.
Yeah, Matt Airy got off to a little bit slower start today than he has, but here's the big thing. He picked up a big flipping stick and a heavy weight and started punching. He said that he had got a little heads up from Ray Hanselman about need to be sure and punch that thicker vegetation. He did that in, I think, 12 minutes. He caught his 5-fish limit, and look at there, really good quality size there for Matt Airy here. Currently in 4th place, but gosh, this is going to be so close. Certainly anybody in the top 5 has a chance to win today.
Championship Mondays are always fun, but a little more fun when we got the G-Man in the mix.
It's always fun, even on live mix, when you just listening in the boat with Gerald Swindle is certainly fun to be able to join him while he's out there fishing. Gerald Swindle, one of the anglers that kind of put a little more on the line, locking down to pool 9 to get away from some of the fishing pressure, and it's definitely worked out for him. Gerald Swindle is someone that everybody that's a bass fishing fan would love to see him raise a blue trophy over his head.
This is the only Elite Series event that all season long you have win and you're in. You win this event and you are in the Super Bowl of bass fishing. And Keith Combs is the only angler in top 10 looking to cash that chip in.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned earlier, you can't help but pull for him a little bit because he's had a very difficult season for Keith Combs standards, but a great tournament here, and winning you're in. He would be in a classic, would totally change his season 180 degrees. So got to pull for him a little bit. He changed his strategy a little bit today. He started in pool 8 and just in the last 15 minutes or so locked down to pool 9. Said he's only going to fish there for about an hour and then come back up into pool 8.
This incredible aquatic playground that is grass-filled. There's an incredible body of water to compete on, but a guy that always catches him in the grass, Brian Schmidt.
Yeah, it's really incredible. Brian Schmidt, one of the best anglers on the Chesapeake Bay, the Potomac River, that whole region that is very, very similar to this, Dave Mercer. You know, a lot of expansive grass flats, very little contour change on these flats if you're not in the river itself, and that's what Brian Schmidt definitely excels at. We saw him at Harris Chain, very similar situation, big grass flat, have a great tournament there, but Brian Schmidt always looking for those little subtle changes offshore. Most of his fish this week have come from a small depression where the grass isn't as high as the area around it.
Brian Schmidt, a former Bassmaster Open winner and an Elite Series title already to his resume, would love to finish this season off in the mix. And as I said, anytime grass is in play, Brian Schmidt is going to be in the mix. You check that out. Fantasy fishing players, keep that in mind. If there's grass, Brian Schmidt going to be a player. Always a player, doesn't matter where he goes. Quickly becoming a juggernaut on the Bassmaster Elite Series, Chris Johnston.
He really is. And Dave, you've known Chris and Corey a lot longer than I have, and you said they're going to be impressive when they get on Elite Series, but I'll have to say they've been out here for several years, but this season is in particular for Chris Johnston, absolutely incredible. He's not just a smallmouth fisherman. Like I'll have to admit, I thought their first few years out here, but they absolutely excel in these grass situations, throwing frogs, flipping, just very versatile. This week he's caught a lot of his fish on a Ned rig, a vibrating jig, a little more top water and frog action for him here this morning.
All the Kawartha lakes that they grew up fishing on look very, very similar to this body of water. But, Davey, one thing that doesn't look similar this week is where we're standing. Our weigh-in was at the La Crosse Loggers facility, and, a pretty incredible experience so far, but it's Championship Monday. Last day of school.
Yeah, last day of the 2022 season. Really surprising that it's all kind of gone by so quickly. But a lot of these anglers I know with a lot of them coming from the deep south, driving this far up to South Dakota and then here to La Crosse, Wisconsin, are ready for a ride home in a few weeks off, but they'll have a few months off.
Few months off, but lots of action still to come. We welcome in all our viewers watching all around the world on this very rare Championship Monday. We'll give you a school note, a work note, whatever you need. Just put some headphones on. Don't tell your boss you're watching, because it is Championship Monday, the final championship day of the 2022 Bassmaster Elite Series, and we have a camera on Gerald Swindle.
There he is. That may be the one we need right there, too. That feels good. Oh, he's got two more big ones with him. He had two more big ones with him, dude. Damn, we'll just keep calling them out. Dude, he had two really nice ones with him. That's a fatty, ain't it? Back to this live well now, do this. Put bigger boy Troy's in there. Hanging in there, ain't you, buddy?
Gerald Swindle doing some culling. But an angler that's got a lot of coverage this week, not just for this tournament, but for his incredible season. Kicked it off with a win in the Bassmaster Opens, followed that up with an Elite Series win down in Tennessee, and Brandon Lester now trying to finish off the season with a title here today.
Yeah, a lot of money on the line today, not only for winning this event, but Angler of the Year money, and most of these anglers can move up. And in the top 10 Angler of the Year money, it's definitely big changes. So they're fishing for two paydays, really, here today. Brandon Lester having one of the best seasons, probably the best season he's ever had with the two wins, but he's been one of those anglers that you knew was going to be battling or win an AOI or a Bassmaster Classic. He's just been that consistent since he came out here on the Elite Series. Every year seems to get better and better.
Brandon Lester actually mentioned that at takeoff this morning. He said, everybody says I'm in second, and he says, but if Chris wins and I finish 10th, I'm actually in third. So I need to move up a few spots to secure second place in Angler of the Year and get a little bit more of that money from Progressive.
A lot of calculations in these anglers' mind, whether they, you just think they're thinking about what bait to throw or what move to make next, but they're thinking about where they finish and making the Classic, winning AOI, the money that's handed out for the AOI places. And then Keith Combs just a little bit ago was calculating how much time it was going to take him to lock, how much time he'd spend on 3 places down in Pool 9. Needs 2 4-pounders to give him a chance to win. And if you look, he doesn't see the standings, but if you look at him, that's exactly right. He needs 2 more pounds.
You're live.
All right, guys, we're still here, grinding away. I really wanted to leave it and come back, but every time I almost do that, I catch a good one. I feel like just the presence of my boat here could spook these fish a little bit. But every time, like I said, every time I'm like, all right, I'm gonna leave and let it rest, I catch a good one. We got 5 quality fish. I just, you know, we need 2 big bites. This place has gotten better for whatever reason. I don't know why. I haven't spent as much time here. I thought it was a smallmouth spot in the morning. The smallmouth bite here really, really good. You know, and then it seems like they peter away and the largemouth show up, but I really feel like with the sun, it's positioning. We got, I can't tell if that's Chris there. Bottom line is they're getting more in position here, and it seems like just a 50-yard stretch has them. I've given them multiple presentations. They don't seem to want to bite anything but a Carolina rig, and I don't know. It's been a very, very good day. I would love this to work out, but you never know how it's going to end up. I got to get home to my son's birthday. He's turning 8. If I didn't have to do that, I might even stay and fish another day. It's been so much fun, but we're going to keep grinding. We're going to really focus in here and maybe make a little move and come back to it. But stay tuned. We still got a little room we can grow. I said my son's turning 8, he's turning 9. Pretty sure. Yeah. I'm just nervous, guys. Let me get back here in position. You know, Brian New just came over to me. He's got 0, which I was scared that the area that a bunch of us were sharing was going to get tough. You know, depending on what he does over there, if he doesn't catch anything, I might tell him to try to catch a couple here to salvage his day. But really, really, really would like to be able to let this rest and come back to it. Maybe go do a little frogging up shallow or flipping or something like that.
Davey, are we hearing a little on the water? I don't know what it would be, gamesmanship, because he's saying Brian New told him he has no fish.
Yep.
But
0 was the
Bass
word
Track,
I think he used. 0.
0.
And Bass Track's got him at 10 pounds. So sometimes Bass Track is off, but sometimes maybe he's considering 10 pounds to be 0, and he really wants to get in on the spot. Well, they do share fishing locations. We'll have to clear that out. Clear that up this afternoon.
You never did that, did you know?
Well,
I might have underestimated. I don't think I ever said 0.
We had the first few days, and there's a lot more water coming over it, so it doesn't position them in those 2 places. So I'm not saying that deal is completely out of the question, but it just wasn't working out. And now we've moved down the river, and we're hitting these current seams on the head end of these islands and stuff, and I'm getting a lot of bites. I'm just not getting the quality. Just hoping to run into the right school of them. But it's been a slow go for me so far.
Drew Benton has had an incredible season, Davey. I mean, he literally, maybe his best season ever. I mean, yeah. I know he didn't have a win this year, but as far as consistency, really,
he really has. Season. He really has. And you think Drew Benton and Drew Cook, you think sight fishermen, but there's a whole lot more versatile and well-rounded than just being sight fishing.
Exactly.
They both do a good job catching them from south to north, north to south, east to west.
Seagulls will normally tell you where they're at.
Every time I ask him why it's going so well, he doesn't hide it, doesn't he? Said, I got married, I'm in love, I've got a baby on the way, life is going good, and when that happens, fishing goes good.
Yeah, that's something anglers don't talk about as much as maybe we wish they would.
Now, the man in question that we're wondering whether there was maybe some fibbery, Brian New.
All right, Brian, tell us about your day and this interesting turn of events.
Well, what I pretty much expected to happen, happened. Stoddards dried up. I'm sure there was some bass caught in there, but I wasn't willing to sit there and die, so I run all my bars and caught plenty of fish, but they were all short. So I run over here. Now they're schooling around me. I caught 5 smallmouth. They're schooling all over the place here now. It's like they'll do it for a minute and just go like 20 minutes without doing it. Caught a few on a speed crawl and Carolina rig, a few on a spook. I've only caught 6 or 7. There they are over there. It's like I hate to run all around, but dang, when I see exactly where they're at, I have to. It hadn't been pretty at all, but man, I'm just very fortunate I'm not gonna zero. I was very, 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 very worried about that. I mean, there's one, that's a decent one, I think. Come on, baby, let me get you in the boat. They ain't huge, but that gum, they're a lot bigger than nothing.
So he's culling, but listening to him there, when he called that fish not huge, but a lot better than nothing, he's just considering those 5 2-pounders nothing. I guess, maybe, no,
I guess. I mean, that's what he's gonna say. even if he was lying. Or maybe he'll say I had 0 from that spot. There's always a way around. Listen, I think Brian New is one of those guys that people, because of his kind of down-home kind of attitude, people take him for granted. But, man, he is going to fill his freezer full of meat, and I mean trophies, the next few years.
Chris Johnson with a 2-pound lead. A little over 2 pounds. It's what he left the dock with this morning, Dave.
Yeah. That 2 pounds is a big lead, but man, we've seen it every single afternoon. Key big bites. I mean, we've seen an Angler of the Year title won by a key bite in the afternoon, and I think it'll happen again.
Escape.